All right, well, welcome. Thank you for jumping on this Saturday. We're in winter here in Melbourne. Kurt's in summer still. Is that correct, Kurt?
No, I'm in Delamere. Does it say on the screen I'm in Summerfield?
No, I said summertime.
Oh, summertime. Okay, I thought you said Summerfield.
I didn't even know where that is.
I don't-
Yeah, so that's okay. Anyway, so welcome to the call. Yeah, today we're going to be talking about Sizzle Safe. We're going to be talking about toxins in personal care products and, what to look for in your bathroom cabinet, because they really say one of the most dangerous places in your house is your bathroom. Do you want to say something to that, Dr. Kurt?
I'm just gonna say that until I got involved with Sizzle, I never really knew how bad it was.
Mhm.
I remember when they first came out with triclosan, which is the disinfectant that they put in antibacterial soap, and I told everybody, I said that stuff is dangerous. It causes cancer, and I told people not to buy it. And of course, it wasn't until years later the state of Minnesota, which is just the next state over from me here in the States, they came out with a report, and they said that they were banning the use of all products that contain triclosan from being used in any state-run offices because they discovered it killed fish.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. Okay, great. Well, I've got two short videos, and the first one I want to show is a preview to a movie which I haven't seen, which could be quite good for people to check out. But it really drives home the point of something of the things that you've just highlighted. And we really just want to get this message across to people. I think it's really important to understand the potential dangers. They're not immediate dangers, but they're accumulative, and over a period of time they mount up. So let's have a quick look at this 1 minute and 52-second trailer here.
This is something controversial. I'm calling out the entire makeup industry. These companies are telling you, yeah, it's gentle, it's safe. And then 10 years down the line, oh my God, I'm infertile. Oh my God, I have cancer.
This cosmetics issue is even bigger than the tobacco industry because we're talking about thousands of different chemicals.
The same chemicals being dumped and running through the rivers are running through our blood.
Skincare, hair, feminine care products have been associated with reproductive problems. Ovarian cancer, preterm birth, mercury poisoning, endocrine disruption.
The cosmetics industry comes back with their own science, and they say, oh, just a little bit of a cancer-causing chemical.
You have no way of knowing what's in your product.
Wealthy, big corporations don't allow regulations to happen, who allow people to be harmed.
One person versus a humongous pharmaceutical company.
I hope that with this self-experiment that I'm doing, it'll catch people's attention.
So you have higher levels than most Americans in at least 3 of your samples here.
Chemicals are not like people. They're not innocent until they're proven guilty.
Unless we do bring these chemicals under better control, we are certainly headed for disaster.
We don't want to wait 60 years to find out that some chemical we use in hand lotion is causing breast cancer.
So anyway, that's a really good video there. It's actually a documentary, so that's probably worth people watching to just highlight the dangers of personal care. Now, of course, they were talking about cosmetics, but a lot of the chemicals in the cosmetics are also in the personal care products that we're using as well. So Sizzle obviously doesn't have makeup or cosmetics, but we do have the personal care. So I'm just going to bring up our Sizzle Safe brochure. So this is something I guess we're really proud of, and this is one of the reasons I got into, was how I actually found the Mowers in the first place back in 2003, I think it was, Kurt. I was
right on.
Yeah, I was looking for a company or products that were safe. And how did I get onto the topic of this? It was that It was at the time that my father was, he had been diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and he was 54 years of age. And I just thought there's something terribly wrong with this picture. I've got to look at every possible avenue, every possible area that could be improved to try and understand what's going on in this situation. And the first place I started was with, you know, potentially harmful chemicals, the chemicals in personal care, in and around the house, in the bathroom, so that sort of thing. So I started looking there, and someone had actually left a toxic guide in the bathroom at a gym, and I picked that up and I took that home and I looked at my bathroom products and went through them with the guide and found that, you know, pretty much all the products I was using had these harmful ingredients in them. So
wow.
yeah, so that was when then I just called the girl who left the card. And that's how I found the Mowers and the Mauer mission. And so I'm just going to bring up here and just see if I can zoom this in a little bit here, because it's quite, so this is a brochure.
Well, when Tom first got involved with developing toxin-free products, there was one of the major companies here in the United States that manufactures personal care products, and they actually threatened to take him to court. And they said that, you know, he better stop doing what he was doing, and they were going to take him to court. And Tom accepted the offer. He said
Okay.
you take me to court, and he said, you know, the one thing that's going to happen for sure, he said, I might lose, but he said what's going to happen is I'm going to expose you guys for all the toxins that you put in your products. And they dropped the lawsuit right then and there, because they realized that even though they might win, he was going to beat him in the end, because when people started to find out how toxic their products really were.
That's right. So yeah, what a great story. So it started with Tom Mauer Sr., the late Tom Mauer Sr.'s previous company, which Tom Mauer Jr., the current CEO and co-founder of Sizzle, chief Sizzle scientist as well, was involved with. And over 3 decades ago, you know, he found that many of the harsh chemicals that were used in manufacturing in industry, such as cleaners and detergents, were common in personal care products. So he knew that they posed potential, you know, health risks, and you know, what damage could they do to the body, and that there was no place for them in our personal care products. So that was a real eye opener for him, and that was way back, like I think that was like the late 1980s. That he came to that realization, and we're now in 2023, and that preview to that movie just came out in the last, I think it's only a couple years old. So look how long it's taken before people starting to wake up, because people are asleep. People are asleep, not realizing. They're going, well, it's not an immediate risk. If I use this personal care product today, I don't feel unwell. I don't see any negative effect, but it's the accumulation that happens day in, week in, month in, year after year, that builds up in the body to these toxic levels. And one thing that was interesting in that video, Dr. Kurt, was I saw that young girl was getting a test for phthalates. I didn't even know that was a test you could have done. And I assume that that's obviously coming from all the makeup that she's wearing. What test is that? Are you familiar with that test?
I'm not familiar with that test, no.
Yeah, anyway, that'll be interesting. I will look into that a bit further, because that seemed quite interesting, because that could be, you know, a real good indicator to people to find out how much, like, you know, toxins, it's one of them, you know, that builds up in the systems that you're being exposed to. And they have, you know.
Well, and the phthalates, you know, that's an endocrine disruptor. And the problem with that is that it messes up your female hormones, messes up the male hormones, you know, and they're saying right now that the average 55-year-old male in the United States, maybe other places as well, but at least here in the United States, the average 55-year-old male is more fertile than you know, as far as having active sperm than an average 22-year-old.
Right. Wow. Yeah. So so yeah, Sizzle have a great range of safe products. So Tom Mauer Sr. started with his previous company, and he actually teamed up with a gentleman called Samuel Epstein back then. And I'm going to show a short video on that, goes for about 2 minutes a little later on. Samuel Epstein was the chairman of the Cancer Prevention Coalition. He's now passed away. And he started this coalition looking at particularly the personal care industry and chemicals used. And he went through Tom's previous range of products. He created a book on it, independent third-party review, and deemed Tom's products to be the safest personal care products in the world. Because, you know, he went and made sure that there was none of these potentially harmful ingredients. So that's why Sizzle used the name Sizzle Safe, because they've carried on that tradition that they started way back then in the late 1980s with creating safe products. And so that's how kind of the Sizzle Safe name was born from that. So, you know, Sizzle won't use any potentially harmful ingredients, and their mission, which is part of the Mauer mission, is to hold themselves to the highest possible standard of ingredient integrity. And they'll always make sure they're using non-toxic, safe ingredients. And so we're going to go through what some of those ingredients are. And in this guide, which you can find in your back office, and I'll put it on Facebook as well so people can check it out. But they've got toxic chemicals found in household products, and they've got a list of the ingredients here that are common in personal care and household products. So I guess, yeah, some of the most popular ones that are, I would say popular, common ones. So well, one there, you've got aluminium is used in, and you say aluminum. Is that how Americans pronounce it?
Aluminum.
Yeah, we say aluminium. That is in antiperspirants and even in some cosmetics. Obviously, it's a heavy metal and can build up in the system. So you really don't want to be putting that onto your skin and getting absorbed into your body. So do you want to go through a couple of these, pick out some that you can see on the page here, Dr. Kurt?
You bet. Well, you know, like you said, you look at the alpha hydroxy acids. They're found in a lot of cosmetics and skin creams, things like that. It can cause skin irritation, and you know, and then aluminum, which has been implicated in Alzheimer's, and the benzos, which, you know, a benzone ring, you know, that's what makes up a lot of our hormones, and so it substitutes itself in, and it can cause a lot of problems. Bisphenol A, which comes from plastic, BPA they call it. You know, when you heat up any kind of plastic in your microwave, it can cause a lot of problems. Used for a lot of coatings inside of cans, but plastic water bottles. If you're drinking plastic water, you know, water out of a plastic bottle, if the bottle is squishable, you know, where you can just squeeze it and it caves in really easily, then you know it's got bisphenol A in it, and then the DEA, the MEA, and the TEA. All of those things are used in shampoos, body washes, all of that. Diethylamines, triethylamines, monoethylamines. That's what that stands for, you know. And it's not safe. It can cause a lot of types of problems. Dioxane. I mean, think about dioxane, right? Which is PEGs, you know, polyethylene glycols, and that's the same stuff that they put in antifreeze and things like that. But it's used in skincare products because it's a surfactant that allows it to pass into the skin. And fluoride in your toothpaste, of course, you know, Katie, the story on that is in 1955, they went, or maybe 54, they went into Michigan, they went into Grand Rapids and what was the other city, but about two cities in Michigan, and they were going to see if you know, if fluoride added to the water, the city water system, if it actually would help with tooth decay. And they went into both cities, and one city they didn't put it in the water, the other city they did, and they had about equal populations, equal demographics, and they came back and they were gonna analyze the results in 6 years, and then determine if they were going to use mass fluoridation in the water systems if it worked. They came back 2 years later and they found out there was absolutely no difference. The people who were using the fluoridated water and the people who were using the non-fluoridated water had exactly the same amount of tooth decay. It didn't change anything at all. But they had these great big stockpiles of fluoride because fluoride was left over from production of aluminum. World War II, from making all the airplanes and all of that. So they had to get rid of all these big stockpiles of fluoride, and it was toxic to just leave it sitting out in the environment. So they had to do something with it. So they decided, even though there wasn't any results with using it in the water, they were going to do it anyhow. So they started dumping it in the water, and that's how we started using fluoride in our water systems. And and then we look at mineral oil, we look at PABA, parabens. Paraben, a lot of people, they see paraben and they think of paraffin. They think, oh, it's just wax, but no, it's paraben. It's a petroleum type product, and it's just not safe in your body. And then polyethylene glycol, of course, which is in antifreeze and brake fluid.
Yeah, and the shaving creams as well that men are using as well, or even potentially women if they're using shaving cream. Yeah, that's a big one. So, and people think, oh, well, they wouldn't allow it if the government wouldn't allow it, if it was not safe. And, a classic example of that, like this is the most classic, is mercury in fillings. I mean, they don't put mercury fillings in people's mouths anymore, do they? But I'm not sure what year they started phasing it out. But when you go to the dentist now and you have a filling put in, they don't put mercury fillings in anymore. And which is really sad, because for me, it's good for everyone, but for me, in that it wasn't caught in time, because by the time they had got round to going, oh yeah, this is a problem, we're not going to use mercury anymore, my mouth's actually filled with mercury fillings, So I really need to.
But they're not going to come out and tell you that it's bad either, because of the fact that they don't want a million of lawsuits from people that are saying, oh, you put those mercury fillings in my mouth, you told me it was safe.
Yeah, that's right. So I mean, at your own cost, and it's not cheap to get them removed. And I think you're looking, I think it's about $5,000. And also there is a level of danger in taking them out too, because when they pull the mercury out, you start spiking your levels of mercury in the blood, and they have to monitor that, because when they start drilling them out, the vapor gets breathed in and little fragments get into the system and stuff like that. So yeah, that's a whole nother story, but anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. I guess the point is that it's a toxin, and there's really no place for it in the human body, and we shouldn't be putting and exposing ourselves to these chemicals. So this is a really great checklist that you can have a look at, as I said, and I will post it. So if we go through and have a look here, what the suggestions are. So for shampoo, so you look for in your shampoo that you might be using at the moment. You look for the sodium lauryl sulfate, or the DEA and MEA parabens. So the safe product to use there obviously is the Sizzle Sapphire shampoo, and the same with the conditioner. So looking for those same ingredients, you can replace with the Sizzle Safe conditioner. Now the toothpaste, sodium lauryl sulfate in toothpaste. Now there's a study out. So if you're somebody on this call, or somebody who regularly gets mouth ulcers, the sodium lauryl sulfate in toothpaste actually increases mouth ulcers, because it's protein denaturing. It breaks down healthy tissue, and it makes the mouth susceptible to more mouth ulcers. And so having those ingredients in your toothpaste can make mouth conditions much worse. And even it's more recent times, very popular was the mouth rinses with the alcohol. Alcohol dries out tissue, and you don't want to be drying out the inside of the mouth. For things to heal, they need to have some moisture there. They don't want them to sort of dry out, and the mouth needs to have the good bacteria and the balance in there, and you don't want to dry out that tissue. The Terminator mouthwash or mouth rinse is an excellent product for that. And, the great thing, Kurt, about our Terminator is it's got over, reported by the customers, over 100 uses. It's just such a safe, fantastic product with multiple uses. And, I recommend having multiple bottles on hand. I use it for all sorts of things. What do you think about that product?
Oh, you bet. With the stabilized chlorine dioxide that's in it, it kills bacteria on contact, and just a great product for a lot of different uses. As far as like if you get a bug bite or anything like that, you can put it on there and it kills any of the bacteria right on contact.
Yeah. So, you know, people are often really sensitive to the soaps, and they may be getting irritated hands, especially if they're washing their hands multiple times. And now with, you know, the concern about germs, bugs, bacteria, viruses that's been going on, people are being more conscious of cleaning their hands. So, you know, using a safe, gentle wash that doesn't irritate the skin is really important. Sizzle have a few, actually. They've got the Enliven Bath and Shower Gel. There's the new one that's come out, the Blossoms foaming hand wash. Did you order some of that, Dr. Kurt?
I have not yet.
Yeah, so that one's just come out. And then we've also got the cucumber lime hand body wash. That is also a really safe product that doesn't contain any of these nasty ingredients. So Sizzle has a few options in that area.
Well, what's nice about the cucumber lime, it's got the Sizzle Silver in the hand wash, and so it's an antibacterial soap because of the silver.
Yeah.
So yeah. I have that as a shower gel. I use that as my shower gel because of the fact that, you know, silver is a natural deodorant. It kills off the bacteria on contact, like I said earlier. So if you want to have a natural deodorant, just use that on your body, and it kills off that bacteria that causes the body odors.
Yeah, and that'd be great for somebody who's having issues with you know, body odor, with, like, I guess, smelly feet or underarms or any other part of the body. That would be a great product to be using to help control odor. And then what you can do is you can actually follow that up with some Terminator. You know, you can pat the Terminator or put it in a spray bottle and spray it onto the skin. It is just so gentle and calming to the skin. It's just such a great product, and for even like rashes and irritations. So if you kind of use the cucumber lime and then follow up with the Terminator, that is, you know, great. And that could be really good for somebody who has, you know, an acne problem potentially on their back, if, you know, if there's a bacterial issue going on there. So just cleansing the skin and then spraying with the Terminator. I mean, you can experiment with this. And if you are experimenting, you know, let us know, share your testimonials, because we would love to share them with others. And, you know, as the thing is, it's great that you're reducing the amount of potentially harmful ingredients or toxins that are entering your body. So, you know, this is why we love the range. I really, really love this product. I don't even think we've ever talked about it, Kurt. I use this one. I really love it. And it's the Sizzle bar soap. The Vitae bar. Yeah. Have you used it?
Hands down, that's a great product. Yeah, they were going to discontinue it, and a lot of people were like, no, you got to keep that on in stock.
Yeah, absolutely love the bar soap. It's beautiful, beautiful smelling. It's really gentle on the skin. So some people even are super sensitive to liquid washes. So the most gentle one you could use would be the bar soap. Like, you know, it would be even gentle enough, you know, obviously for a baby's skin, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the bar soap, if you haven't tried it, chuck that into your next order and have a go at that. And that makes a really great gift. And I've tried other soaps. You know, you go into a health food store, they've got bar soap, you know, you can buy bar soap anywhere, but really, when you compare this soap to others, you can't really compare. I think both in the fragrance and the feel and the ingredients, it is quite unique. So give it a go. It's just such a great product. I absolutely love the bar soap. And then we're going to shoot across here, top here. So we've got, you know, for hand and body lotion. Again, like if you're using a hand and body lotion and rubbing cream all over your body and you're doing that every day, you want to be really mindful of what is in that cream, because whatever's in that cream is going into your bloodstream, it's going into your body. And if there's nasty chemicals in there, they're going to accumulate. And as I said, it's not going to be an issue today. It won't be an issue tonight, tomorrow, even next week. But year after year, what is it actually doing if those are small amounts are building up over time? You know, you have to question. So you want to use a really safe hand and body lotion. Sizzle have a great hand and body lotion. They've got the coconut lotion. Yeah, that's the main one. Are you using the coconut?
I don't. You know, I don't know. I guess as a guy, I don't like the smell.
Yeah, fair enough. So yeah, it has probably more of a female fragrance to it. So if you are using the hand and body lotion.
But I have it. I do have it there.
Okay, great. The cleanser, absolutely love the cleanser. So we've got the firming facial cleanser. It's a milky cleanser. And that doesn't contain any harmful ingredients there. So if you're using a cleanser, check out the ingredients in the current cleanser you're using. The Milky Cleanser, I know that Tom designed it in a way, you don't want to strip moisture from the skin. As we age, our skin dries out, and the more dry your skin is, the more wrinkles you have. So you want to keep the skin moisturized. You don't want it oily, but you want it moisturized. So the Firming Facial Cleanser is really a great product for that. And if you want something a little stronger, you can use the Exfolium, which is an exfoliator. You probably wouldn't use that every day, or you could use the Cucumber Lime, depending, or even the Enliven, depends on your skin type. So you need to kind of trial that. The Skin Dew Mist. Oh, I love this product. So this is another great product. If you want to avoid, the harmful chemicals, and you're looking for something that's moisturizing in the skin, but it's light, it's not a cream, it's a mist. It's got the hyaluronic acid in there, which declines as we age. The older we get, the less hyaluronic acid we have in our skin naturally. And that is another one of the many contributing factors to the formation of wrinkles, drying skin, dull complexion. So that is a great product. And then, of course, we've got one of our favorites, which we've talked about last time, haven't we, which is the Actify 6000. Do you want to talk on that?
You bet. Well, Actify 6000, like it says in the name, 6000, it moisturizes 6,000 times stronger than most other products on the market. And I just love it. I use it as a natural sunblock. It's got some SPF factor to it. We can't advertise that because, like you pointed out on the last call, that the government regulates what ingredients you can say have an SPF factor, sun protection factor, and we don't have any of the ingredients that the government says we can advertise it on, so we can't advertise it. But it has a natural SPF factor, and I use it just for that reason, plus the fact that it helps keep my skin moist, and I mean, I don't want to look old when I get old.
No, that's right. Yeah. And so that's a great product. And then, of course, we've got the night cream. So again, check out your facial cream, see what's in them. The Rapid Repair Night Cream we've talked about in detail in the last call. So if you missed our skincare call, check that out. And then if we move into the kitchen and laundry, your dish soap and your laundry detergent. So we've got the Vibrant.
Well, laundry detergent is something that a lot of people don't really think about. They don't think, well, what does that got to do with my health? Well, think about it. Most of the time you're wearing some kind of clothing, and it's up against your skin, and as that clothing rubs on your skin, you're absorbing the toxins out of the clothing into your skin. And a lot of laundry detergents, they just throw whatever in there. They have concrete floor cleaners in there. They have engine degreasers they put in there. They put all these things in there that are strong detergents to get grease and things like that out of your clothing, and you just never think about it. But what's that doing to your skin, and then what's it doing to you once you absorb it in your system?
That's right. That's right. And then the antiseptic dish soap. So when you're washing the dishes and you're using dish soap, the hot water and the soap vaporizes, and you start to get a steam. So you're breathing that in. So you're going to be breathing in toxins there, plus whatever's in contact with your skin. So Sizzle do a fantastic dish soap. And of course, I do recommend wearing gloves anyway when you're washing the dishes. So, there's some great products. Obviously, there's some more. This probably could be updated also with the, there's a couple of other products that I think could be added here. I won't cover them today because we're just on the half hour. But I do want to finish off with this one little video just to kind of drive home the message for everyone on the call, or if you're watching the recording. So just so you can really appreciate the depth of this conversation and how important it is to pay attention to it. And then we'll leave it there. So let me just do a new share here, and let's share this other short video here. It's a really good one here. And so this is Samuel Epstein, who we were talking about, that was working with Tom Mauer Sr.
Okay, perfect.
The majority of cleansers, shampoos, and all these other personal care products and cosmetics are contaminated, either with the hidden carcinogens or with the actual known carcinogens. We're dealing with products to which people are exposed literally from conception till death. When I say conception, because of a mother applying materials to her skin, well, the material is absorbed and affects the fetus. So the first point is the duration of exposure is from conception to death. The second point is there is a very large surface area of skin which is exposed to some personal care products. And thirdly, the skin is highly permeable to what you put on it. There are very few substances that don't pass through the skin. This reminds me of one particular analysis which showed that the levels of a particular carcinogen called nitrosamines, the levels of absorption are much greater, up to 100 times greater, from applying cosmetics containing this particular carcinogen to skin than from eating foods contaminated with this. So it's a very, very real issue, and it's an issue which both regulatory agencies and the public in general are still very unaware.
So yeah, that is a great video to finish with. So hopefully you found
100 times more toxic putting it on your skin than ingesting it through your mouth. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, yeah, and he was a leading authority. You know, obviously he's no longer with the organization, with the Cancer Prevention Coalition. He's passed away, but you know his work, yeah, has left a legacy.
One of the things that brings to mind, Katie, I gotta just say this. I know we're running overtime a little bit, but you know, so many times they say, "Oh, Teflon, Teflon. Don't use Teflon frying pans because you're absorbing that Teflon." But you know, if you think about it when you take your clothes in and you get them dry cleaned. What are they putting on your clothing? Well, it's a fluorocarbon similar to Teflon. That's what they use when they dry clean your clothes. When you get that, when you buy a new car and it's got that new car smell, what gives it that new car smell? It's a fluorocarbon, and that's similar to Teflon. You're absorbing that into your skin. When you spray some of these household sprays that you spray to get rid of odors, you know, what is that? That's a fluorocarbon. And that stuff's getting into your system. And then you think that they actually put Teflon, they don't call it Teflon, but they put it into skincare products because it makes your skin look smooth, and it smooths out the wrinkles if they put Teflon in there, you know, because, you know, and eggs won't stick to your face either, by the way. And they put that Teflon in there, and you absorb it more through your skin, but they make a big deal. Oh, don't use Teflon frying pans, you know, but really it's 100 times more dangerous by having it in your skincare product.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, that sums up our call. You know, it's something to think about. So go and do a check in your bathroom, have a check in your house. Think about like what Samuel Epstein, Professor Samuel Epstein said, it's from conception to death. And it's the accumulation. Imagine how many chemicals, if you could avoid them, what that could potentially do for your health in terms of not only longevity, but overall well-being and how you feel. So let's leave it there. Thanks for getting on. I really appreciate you getting on the call. And thanks, Dr. Kurt. And we look forward to you joining the next call.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining us. And those of you that are listening to the recording, get back to the person that got you the call and just thank them for getting it to you, and let them know your intentions if you're interested or not.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
All right, bye-bye.